What if you could help others to find the power to heal themselves? Physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
When I started teaching my classes, it was in 2002, and I was just doing the past life regressions and contacting the subconscious part. But then as the time went on and we found how powerful this was and what we could do with it, a lot of the students began saying, you know, advanced past life regression doesn't really tell what it's all about. This is so much more than that. We think you should change the name. So it was a few years ago we decided to change the name to Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. And this is the healing technique that we've now been teaching it, well, since 2002, that's 12 years.
What if you could time travel with them? Visit mythical places or angelic realms, other worlds, other galaxies. Help others to speak to their higher selves. You can. Dolores has taught thousands of people from across the world how to use QHHT, and now you can learn her method by going directly to DoloresCannon.com. And don't forget to mention the discount code MORETALKS.
Established over 100 years ago, Watkins Books is one of the world's oldest and leading independent bookshops specializing in esoterica. We have the widest selection of esoteric books in the UK, and our friendly and knowledgeable staff are here to assist you in a unique ambience of our shop. So come and visit us in the heart of London as we're open every day.
The More Show is supported by Mindscape, Paranormal and UFO Matrix magazines, available for download on all major digital platforms. The comments and views expressed on The More Show are those of the people that make them and do not necessarily reflect the view of Kevin Moore, The More Show, or this radio station and its affiliate or sponsors. This show is for entertainment purposes only.
Broadcasting from the UK and across the world online. You're now watching the UK's only alternative late night talk show, and I'm your host, Kevin Moore. For the next hour, I'll be covering subjects that will open up your mind and provide you with information you may have never heard before. On today's show, I'm joined with Angela Blaha, who has over 2 decades of experience helping people make positive changes in their life. Now, Angela is an intuitive transformational teacher, mentor, speaker, and author. She is passionate about helping people overcome obstacles through their life journey. In her book, Show Me How to Remember Your Power Through Self-Love and Forgiveness, Angela provides free Show Me meditations that walk people through the process step by step. She is a popular speaker and is interviewed frequently on a variety of radio shows, sharing her message of personal power. Angela Blaha, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kevin. It's an honor to be here.
It's very nice to have you on. I got to research you a little bit before coming on today. I don't know too much about your background, really. Let's just start there with yourself as well, just for the audience and myself. What is your background? What was your background prior to having an awakening experience then?
Well, I've always been intuitive, let's say. Ever since I was young, I knew who I would marry. At the age of 16, I knew who I'd marry, how many children I'd have, that kind of thing. And then I went to college and started doing some dream work. And at that time, the premonitions started coming in, and they were pretty dark. And I didn't really have a mentor or anyone to help me understand what was really happening. And so I just asked Source to shut it off, and I basically got rid of all of it. And then about 15 years ago, I started, I was bored with life. I did got a master's degree in psychology and counseling and had children and worked. And then I got bored and said, maybe I kind of want to dabble in that intuition stuff again. And so I asked to bring it back, and now it's just been growing and growing and growing ever since. So it's been a lot of fun. It started with just intuitive hits, and then I started doing readings for other people. I took up Reiki, so I'm a Reiki master. I've done yoga and lived the yogic lifestyle for quite some time. And it just blossomed into there. I'm a hypnotherapist, and now I'm moving into and being a bigger channel than I used to be. So that's kind of my background.
So with the regression, when you say, you mean past life regression?
Yes, with hypnosis, yes. But you don't have to have hypnosis done to do past life regressions any longer. So through the channel that I have, what happens is they allow me just to see the patterns that people have, which lifetimes they kind of came from, and I can just bring them into their awareness when we're having just a reading or just a session or channel session or a mentoring session.
Okay, that's interesting. Do some people prefer, though, to still let it come from themselves?
Sometimes they do. A lot of people fear hypnosis, right? Because they're afraid of the unknown and not being in total control, or that's the perception that they have, is that they're not in total control. And so anymore, I do a few past life regressions, but I don't do a lot of them any longer. And actually, you can just bring them into your awareness just by you and I sitting here having a conversation.
When you say you were bored at particular points in your life, which then spurred you on to taking the path that you've taken, mm-hmm. Was it more than boredom? Was it pain as well? Was it actual, you were just really more than fed up as well? You were just not happy in what you were doing?
Yeah, there probably was a portion of that. It was, I was a counselor for a long time, and so what I saw in people was that their pain and suffering went beyond anything that ritualistic kind of things could help them with. And so there was this yearning that I had inside that said, I know there's more out there. I know there's more to everyone's story. I know that there's more to helping them and helping them understand their emotional body, how to get it to work with their mental processes, with the way that they think, and how to bring them into being and working as one individual instead of working in separation.
So with the psychic abilities, obviously, that ability, did you test that ability? Was it quite, did you just start doing psychic readings in a sense that, after some sort of training, or was it a tested connection in a sense?
It was right after my Reiki training, where I became a Reiki master, that what I noticed was the intuitive hits started coming, and I didn't even realize that that's what was happening. And I tried to channel. Well, I did channel a little bit at that time, but it was a little bit scary because at that time the energy that I was channeling wanted to totally fit into my body, right? And so again, I didn't really have a mentor, and so I started doing the other psychic stuff, using my intuition, reading people's auras, getting into kind of their energy field where I could understand what their soul was sort of talking about. And that's really what I do, is I see and read souls. So my psychic abilities are a little bit different probably than a lot of people because I can see their souls.
Okay, well that's a little bit different. Yeah, absolutely. And what is seeing someone's soul? What does that mean in a sense?
Well, I see the energy of who they are as a soul level. So I don't necessarily see the physical body. I see energy-wise. And souls are, when they talk to me or when they show me like messages, they show me in picture form. Some of them show me in picture form. Most of the time, they just talk. And it's just energy that talks through the Akashic records. So that's how I connect with souls, is through the Akash.
Okay, we'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah.
And with these abilities, what material were you studying when this came about then?
I was just practicing Reiki. And
so have you? Okay, what material has influenced you then? Would you say?
I think it was just my intriguing mind that sort of influenced me, and then I started reading books. Anything by Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra. I started listening to a little bit of Abraham at that time, and I just got more and more intrigued, and it just blossomed into everything. So when I started doing the Reiki treatments, like things would come in from my clients, like, move to the knee, and this is what happened, that they have a knee injury. And so those kinds of things would start coming in, and then it just went into, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And so that's how it grew. That's an interesting question. I guess I didn't really tell a lot. My family knew way before I did that I was intuitive and I had psychic abilities. And I guess they really weren't shocked, and they are just, they accept and don't really judge anything. So I'm fortunate that way. My purpose changes frequently, because I did not come in with just one purpose to live throughout my life. I came in with multiple purposes, and I'm sort of in the creation stage of my purposes, which means that I basically have used up my purposes that I came in knowing that I would have as a soul. And so now I'm just in creation mode. And so my purpose right now is to help and heal and serve humanity as much as I possibly can, in any way that I possibly can too. So.
Okay. And what would you say drives you? Are you really passionate about what you do?
I am very passionate about what I do. If I could do this all day long, night and day, I would relinquish sleep to do what I do, just because it's so much fun.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't work a day in my life.
Obviously, no. Okay. So, getting to the channel side as well, because that's obviously quite interesting, because not all psychics channel.
Correct.
Right. Now this channel has grown for you. Now initially you were bringing through, if I've got the name right, the channel was called the Mothers.
That's who I channel now primarily, are the Mothers. When I first started, it was just one energy being it was a very masculine kind of energy. He's still around. His name is Ong. That's how he likes to be addressed, is Aung, Ong. And he basically came into the body, and he would, and I would shape shift, like my facial expressions would change, my voice would change a tiny bit. Now when I channel the Mothers, they are, there's a lot of them. And they're primarily feminine energies, and they don't necessarily come into the body. They surround me, and they surround the clients that I work with.
Would you say they are a past life, future life connection with yourself? or part of the same soul group?
They are part of the same soul group, yes. And some have been in human form and some have not. Like Goddess Lakshmi is one who frequently channels through me. And so, they're kind of all over.
Yeah. And could you go as far to say that potentially with it being the same soul group, and if all is one, then this is you?
Correct.
This is you.
Yes, and that's how they express themselves. And that's when they first came in, that's exactly what they wanted to teach, was unification, right? Like we're all united. We work as one being. The next book that I'm channeling with them is all about how to work as one being, work with all of your thoughts, matching your emotions, fitting into the physical body, and then bringing all of your spiritual bodies in as well. And so they're all about the pure natural state of the soul, which is just pure consciousness or pure love.
Do you find that, absolutely, do you find that more empowering for yourself to know this is you? That's how powerful you are, in a sense, to be able to bring this through. And that's of great benefit to others who want to do the same.
Exactly. And that's part of what they've been teaching me, is it's part of moving into the fifth dimensional energy, is all about, working as one being and being as complete with your thoughts and in balance with your thoughts, your emotions, all your actions, but working it into the human aspect of who we are, because there is no separation. That's just part of the illusion, right? And so, so their teachings are all about, totally getting rid of that thought, that paradigm, and moving forward with this beautiful energy that's just pushing us into oneness and being part of the oneness.
Do you find the information that you're bringing through is information said in a different way, but that's already currently out there, but said in a different way?
Yes, it's already out there. What the mothers bring that's unique is the love, the unconditional love that all my clients feel, and that I feel. Like sometimes it's overwhelming for me, because their love is not anything like you witness here on earth. It's just so balanced, and it's so peaceful, and it's just like it's the extremeness of what we think love is.
Yeah. Well, it's like people have a near-death experience. You can't explain their love that comes from entering that space. And I know, so that's the same sort of love maybe you're referring to potentially.
Exactly.
I would say it is. Yeah. Okay, it's the same message in a different way, in a sense. There must be a reason for that. I think firstly the reason is for the clients that come to you. They may never have heard the message in the first place. If they have heard the message, they never listened in the first place anyway. Potentially that's why it's repeated as well. It's the level that the clients are coming in at. It's there where they're spiritually at, the level that they're at. They resonate with what you do, and it helps them so much. It releases them from where they are and heals them as well at the same time. Because I think that's what the gift that you've got, obviously, is as a healer with this gift as well, of being able to bring this channel in. There is many channels out there, yet I think they are all there for their own purpose. They're all there with a unique purpose, aren't they?
Yes, it's just like, writing a book. There are millions of books out there, but until you find the right one, you never hear the message. And that's exactly how channels are, right? Like there's hundreds of channels, people who can channel. And that's part of the beauty of, again, what the mothers are trying to teach, is that it's at your fingertips. Like every one of my clients are people who are like on the verge of it. And that's what we incorporate, is you can do the exact same things. I'm not anything special. No one is. And look, these are all the things that you can do at your fingertips. We don't have to go through life alone or thinking that we are alone, and that there is no separation. We can access all of this energy, and we can move it into our daily life, and we can live blissfully. That's part of their message, is to live life blissfully.
Do you think absolutely? So what you're saying is you're not a guru, nor is the channel. The channel itself is in a state of learning from much higher dimensions above the channel where it is at anyway. There's infinite levels probably of frequency above it. And we all have this ability as well. We all have this ability to go within this quiet space and bring through, even if it's our higher self, which is this, which is just as powerful, which is where this information comes from anyway. It's all connected to it. To be able to go into that quiet space and listen to the higher self and start from there to bring forth that greater part of yourself.
Exactly. Isn't that's really what we're here to do as human aspects? That's really what we're here to do, is to bring all of that we can access when we are not in human form, right? That's who we are, is to bring all of that energy here to Earth and to use it throughout and within this human being in this duality, right? So there's the duality component, and then bringing in this pure state of love consciousness into the human body is like, that's the age of Aquarian. That's really where we're headed. And it's just going to be, it's magnificent.
I think so. Do you know what really annoys me about it sometimes is, in my life right now, is it's just going to sound so bad, but right now, money is not my main issue, but it annoys me just with all the effort that I put into what I'm doing, how little money there is coming in right now. But I don't give up, because I know that I will break something and it will move forward. I've just got to keep going, right? But it does pain me.
Right. It pains a lot of people. Yeah. And so this is so do you want to do a little exercise with me, Kevin? With the mothers? Okay, so it's all about money. So what you want to, and all your listeners can do this as well. So what you want to do is take a nice deep breath in, close your eyes, and on the exhale, pull all of your energy into your chakra system. Let's do it again. Take another nice deep breath in, and on the exhale, pull your energy into your chakra system. And now come to your heart space where you know that the soul energy resides. And make your soul as big as you possibly can. Let it fill the room that you're in. You can go beyond your room. You can fill the town that you're in. Get it as right. And so now look at money. And we know that money is just energy, right? It's nothing more than energy. Everything is energy. And now if we open that funnel of energy that has the dollar signs in it, the zeros and the ones and the numbers.
I can hear them fall. I can hear the money falling in.
There you go. Right?
It's coming. Yeah, I could hear that definitely. It's still going.
Right. So that's opening that channel of money that gets stopped for so many people. And we can do.
God, I can still hear the money. I can still hear the money.
See?
How much are they giving me?
Hundreds of thousands.
That's great. Thank you for that.
Yeah, so we can do that with everything, right? So if we are having a lack of anything, all we have to do is get our soul big, see everything as energy, and then just let it come to us. We're not very good at receiving. But once we open up that channel, we open up that energy funnel, then we're receiving.
I think the hardest part of it as well is I find it easier to do the work now, in the sense of, looking at myself from the future, seeing myself with the life that I want, so manifesting in the sense of going to the future and seeing it, right, and pulling it to myself that way. But the hardest part then is then I don't know if about believing in it, but witnessing the results. It's not straight away, is it, this stuff? Not all the time.
Not all the time. That's part of the problem of going to the future, right? And trying to manifest, trying to visualize those things coming to us. But if we're not in receiving mode, that's where it gets stuck. right? That's where it stops. So that's where you need to like be in the present moment and open that up, then go to the future, bring it to you because the channel's already open. That's the part of manifestation that we forget or that we don't get taught very often. Right, but you want the channel of abundance or the channel of receiving to be open first. So when we got our soul big and we opened up that energy of money, now we can receive it. We can go to the future, manifest it, envision ourselves already having it, living in abundance. Now we're open to receiving.
Oh, well, thank you very much for that, because you can use that expanding your soul, in a sense, expanding your awareness into many things in your life, not just money, obviously.
Exactly.
Thank you for that. Yeah, thank you. Would you say your work is expansive? Because I don't really see, it's a bit blurred line with your work in a sense that there's many areas to your work.
Exactly. And the mothers are like, they don't want to focus on just one area because that keeps us in separation. Right? So they are all about, no, we have to work, we have to find out what's stopping. We have to look at the patterns that we have. Like for you, it was the pattern of receiving. So we open that channel first, and now you can go to the future and receive all you want in anything. And so the mothers are all about, we have to come at this as one whole being. And where do the patterns lie? Where do the belief systems lie?
What do the mothers say about purpose, finding your purpose, or finding that thing that really turns you on to do, that you, as you said earlier on, this is not a job for you, this is
right.
This is what you love. And I've battled with that, I'm still battling with it, because there's days when I think, well, I do love this point right now, where I get to speak to yourselves as the guest. I do love this. Okay, it doesn't, it is going to pay, it does pay really well, even though it's not right now, but I'm saying it does, right? Just
right.
Using that angle with it, right? And I think that puts me off sometimes with is this really what I want to do? But then, like people always say when I watch a lot of YouTube videos, if you love what you do, put the money to one side. Well, then I think to myself, well, yeah, but if I'm not coming from that space, is this really what I want to do?
Right. Well, know that your purpose. So is it okay if I go into your energy and the mothers come in?
Of course. I do channel, of course.
Okay. So if we look at your energy, there's patterns of worthiness. Am I really worthy of receiving abundance? Now that can be, taken on. It feels like it's a past life issue that you brought with you this lifetime in order to heal it up. So know that your purposes, though, are not, you didn't come in with one purpose. You came in with about 4 major purposes, and then there's a few little ones along the side that kind of pop in, or you can see those as opportunities that will come in from time to time, and it's always your choice to take them or not. So right now, it feels like you're not necessarily, like your purpose is changing. It's moving more towards life, not necessarily. So change your perception of what abundance means. Get a working definition of what does abundance mean to you. So see if you can't go to the future and get abundance if you don't know what it is. So we have to we have to pay attention to the words. And if we don't have a working definition of that, there's no way that we can manifest it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. No, things have changed for me, and I feel like I am fighting. I'm fighting something, and it's almost like it's the channeling that I'm fighting. It's almost like there's a book that wants to be written, and I'm fighting it a bit. and I know I've got to stop filing it and let it come in, but it's been the most. I find it quite daunting. Is the word.
So take one day at a time and just sit for about 10 or 15 minutes and write. So then
that's why I've taken. That's why I've yeah.
Then it gets rid of the overwhelm, right? Like when I first started channeling the mothers, their love is just so overwhelming, and it was really overwhelming. And I would just sit and cry because it was so beautiful that I had no idea. Like I still sort of cry sometimes today because the love is just like indescribable. And it was overwhelming. It overrid all my senses. And I feel like that's really where you're at right now, is like your senses are so overridden by, you know, you're busy and you're working really hard to achieve stuff and to bring things, abundance to you, but you don't have clear definitions of them. And so now you're doubling your overwhelm, right? So just take little bites, take little chunks of things. So sit down and write for 10 to 15 minutes every single day. Then there's no overwhelm to it. And it all of a sudden that the channel opens up and it just pours out you.
Yes, just trying to write this first channeled book, it's been a bit of a nightmare, to be honest, which it should not be. I've just, everything's just shifted so much. I would have normally channeled and it would have just come out of me, and as though I'm talking like this.
Right.
But it's changed to a very conscious channeling where it's whispering in my right side and I'm repeating what it's saying.
Right.
I find that very annoying in some respects because it's such a slow process. Yeah. In the end, it does become synchronized as I'm speaking now. It's almost that synchronized. It's a lot of trust as well. It's a lot of trust because you try that not to filter it with any belief system or anything else, so that truth can just come through as easy as possible. And, so I take my hats off to you for bringing your book out, because I know partly what that process may be like. It's not so straightforward as people think it is.
Right. And I was much like you. I've fought it for a couple of years. I knew it was coming. They kept saying, it's coming. Why don't you just sit down and write? But I was really apprehensive, and there was a huge trust factor. It was like, really, can I do this? Is this really what's happening? Am I really, connecting to some higher consciousness that knows way more than me? And there was like, okay, so if I do this, what do I do with it? And then there was some fear about, getting popular, getting the word out, being on so many different avenues, so many different shows. Now I'm a speaker, and I have my own radio show. And, there's that sort of abundance that I never really pictured. And it came in forms that sort of surprised me.
Oh yeah, I bet it did. I was at a psychic fair a few weeks ago, and I stayed on because there was a psychic giving readings to the whole audience. Just they did a public demonstration, and he came over to me, and then he told me that there's a book to write. Now that's when I knew he was the real deal, because he didn't know me,
right?
And it was just like, yeah, this guy really is connected, and that's happened a few times, and I'm like, okay. You're kind of getting a message here, so you maybe need to listen. So yeah, no, and for anyone else that may be going through something similar as this, I suppose it's nice to be able to just share it, say that you're not on your own as well. This is how it comes sometimes. When life wants to come through you, it will do, and it won't give up.
Exactly, and that's the point. You either start to move into it, or they push you off the cliff. It's easier to just move into it than it is to be pushed off the cliff. It's safer.
It's so true. I'll be at the gym and I'll be getting a download, and I never used to say these words, but that's the only way I can describe it, because it was just a knowing, and it was the download was the reality where we go to has never actually been described. And in no book is it ever described. It's so much greater than what any book has told us. The reality of where we go is so much greater than what we have been told, and it's so huge. It's so huge, and you think to yourself, what? There's no book out there that's exactly right. You're telling me that actually nothing's right. That actually that's just surface level. Wow, could that be true? What part of me? Why would I want to even think that? Where did that come from? And I had an interview with the Seth organization recently, and this is what Seth was saying. Apparently, that actually the nature of reality is greater than what has been committed to paper out there. That's incredible, isn't it?
It is incredible, but it's so true, right? Because we are in creation mode, right? Everything else has happened simultaneously or in the past or in the future, however you want to look at it. But for the human being, this is new territory. And when we can put it into human form, what we can see, hear, sense outside of the human body, this is totally new territory. And it is not on paper. It's not on TV. It's not in music. It's not anywhere to be found because we are creating as we go. It's so fun. Right. The first book was all about love and forgiveness and those two components leading into, well, really, that was kind of the prelude to working as oneness. And then what I didn't know at that time was, the mothers were going to come in. And so they are all about working from the inside out, because that's really where we get our inspiration, where we really, where the channels meet our energy system is on our inside. We as human beings, we are energy, but it's our chakra system, our energy system that really picks up on that photon light and moves into that connection with other light beings.
Do you find it difficult that, for me, as doing this interview show for many years now, mm-hmm. there are so many different truths, and no one seems to be saying exactly the same thing. A lot of people will disagree with other people's point of view, so there is no one truth. There seems to be. There really doesn't. I had David Icon the other day, and that's not name dropping. It's just he was on, and he doesn't agree with a lot of the truth out there. Other people don't agree with his truth. Then there's other people that don't agree with any of their truths. How confusing is it for you sometimes to go out there with your truth and state this is true for you? Is it easier with having it come through yourself in a sense, because at least it came through you? That's where your truth came from, so I'm going to trust that.
Right. Well, that's the purpose of moving into this new energy as well, is that every truth is a truth. Doesn't mean that we have to agree with their truths, because it's not my truth. So when we move inward, which is all about what the mothers teach, is moving inward into our own wisdom, because everything comes, right? Because oneness has many different avenues. And that is truth for that avenue. Does that make sense? So
it does. Yeah. So go ahead.
No. So like, just because my truth says that, I have to come from a perspective of love, which is really, that is my truth. Other people's perspective is, well, what about, working through forgiveness, or what about, working through some other avenue? And how can we really match our emotions with our thoughts, which is one of the other things, and the vibration of words. Lots of people don't even think that words have vibrations, but they either carry you up or they carry you down. And to just bring that into awareness is really a truth. And bringing all awarenesses into awareness, I guess, if you bring other perspectives into awareness, doesn't mean that they're right or wrong. It's just an awareness.
Yeah. I've said this on the show before. Sorry, people, if you're bored with me saying it, but I've just got to say it with you here as well, is that I was told in my sessions that there are ultimate truths, and even when you cross over, you're still trying to figure out your truth. It is not set at all, apparently. I find that quite empowering because, there were years that I thought that, what other people's books were saying must have been true because they're all saying the same thing in a general sense, in some sense. But maybe it's more empowering to come up with your own truth, and that's okay. And there are core truths, though, and I'm sure there is with you, like as in we are here there is a oneness. Love is the only way forward. Yeah. And caring for each other as well, and seeing the good in each other.
Right. There are universal truths, right? That are, law of vibration, law of manifestation. Those are universal, what I call universal truths. So the vibration of love. And so those will never change. But I don't want to say perspective because that's an ego term, but what we see is minute by minute, right? Because we are locked into time and space here, and we are energy beings, and as energy beings, we are in constant change. And so what my truth is in this moment may not be my truth 5 seconds from now, because I have evolved in time and space. And we are in constant evolution all the time. Even Source Creator is in constant evolution. There's no end. There's not some place to get to. We are always in constant evolution. And so we have to, in what the mothers say is, we have to constantly be changing what we know is our truth, because truth changes. It's not set in stone.
Yes. Yeah, I love the way you said that. That's so empowering. It really is. It really is. And I was just going to lead on from another question there. Well, yes, that was it. What do the mothers think? I love the name, the mothers. That's a great name. What do the mothers think of the state of the world right now and the suffering that's taking place?
Well, they're probably going to overwhelm me with love right now, because that's exactly what they do. Is we sit for about half hour every single day, and we just encompass the world with love, because really that's all that we can do. The state of the world is, it's not necessarily all that bad, because change happens whether we want it to or not. It's how much we hold on to what we think is bad change, or not good change, or good change, and we just want to stay humble, right? So it's the egos really that are trying to hang on to not changing, because the egos don't really like to change. But that's perfectly fine, because there's still some sort of goodness that comes out of everything. Whether it's a positive or a negative, it doesn't matter. Because there's always something, it's evolution. We have to stop thinking in levels. We have to stop thinking in ups and downs. We have to stop thinking in rights or wrongs, positives or negatives. Everything is an experience. And once we switch into that paradigm of thinking and believing that everything is an experience, then there's no right or wrong. There's no state of drama. There's no state of, overwhelming love. It's just an experience. Are we in sort of a upheaval kind of energy right now? Yes. But upheaval is good.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Do you think, though, that if we came from that space of oneness, then those refugees out there right now in those camps, suffering in a sense as well, and those suffering in war-torn countries, we would not allow this to happen if we came from that space?
Yes, absolutely. It would not even be a concept, right? It wouldn't even be into our awareness. because it would not be happening. Yeah.
You know, people like Gandhi, Mother Teresa, and others that actually went out there and physically did stuff. Do you think in the spiritual circles we're doing enough? We're actually going out there and doing things?
No, because we're afraid. We're still afraid that if we speak spiritually, that we will be cast aside or, you know, killed or whatever happened to us in a simultaneous life or a past life. We still remember those times, right? And we are not to the point where we speak up enough. We do not speak our truth enough because we're afraid to speak our truth.
People can get scared when they speak the truth, that's right, because it makes others quite violent sometimes.
It can, yes. Yeah. Because, you know, we either agree or we don't agree. Instead, if we saw everything as an experience and we came from this space of unconditional love, true unconditional love, we would speak our truth all the time. Well, we wouldn't have to speak because we would all be vibrating at the same level of being.
Right. Okay. Now that's interesting what you're saying, but yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? It's a difficult one. Do we do enough? And if we don't, you're saying it's potentially because we're afraid to speak up and be ourselves. Yeah, it's true. Even with the person I'm living with now in the property that I'm in, I don't speak my truth to him because I don't want to put that. I would not put that on him. I don't need to. I would let them come when they're ready if they sort someone like me out. But I would not push my truth. Am I just as bad? I don't know. I think there's a balance, isn't there? Because you can't. If someone's not ready to hear what you think they're ready to hear, then you can't just go push it. We're not kind of talking about that, are we? Or are we?
No, we are talking about that because it's not that when you're with someone and you're not speaking your truth, maybe you're leaving little seeds of wisdom someplace, though.
Well, I do. I always do. Because this young man lost both his parents, and I always plant a few seeds of wisdom. I do.
Right, and so it's up to the other individual to pick up that seed and to nourish it and to allow it to grow. All we can do is continue to drop the seeds. But there aren't enough of us out there dropping seeds.
No. No. Do you know what my channeling test told me to do, and not to do? But it has advised me. Is it knows my passion apparently, and it's told me I am to start a news network,
yes,
a spiritual news network, and bring people together and get channelers on the news network and all sorts of people on there.
And why aren't you doing that, Kevin?
Why am I not doing it? Oh my gosh, I'm trying to figure out, is it really what I want to do? Do you know that?
Yeah. You know,
I don't know why I'm even trying to figure it out.
If you allowed the channel to come in, there would be no question about what you want to do. Because what happens when we open up to the connections that we have spiritually and we work as oneness, there is no such thing as not knowing our clarity. There is no such thing of not understanding who we are and what our passions are. Like, all of that disappears.
Yes, it does. It does. If I brought my channel in now and brought that love energy in, which we all can do, this is my point. We all can do this, guys, and we can figure out our purpose by bringing this in. You are dead right. It would be. Oh yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. You know what it is for me? It's almost like I've not let go of my past. I used to make a lot of money doing other things, and it pains me right now with all the effort that I put into what I'm doing. Yet what I used to do was just so simple, 9 to 5, lots of money, and now it's like not so straightforward like that anymore, is it? But if you follow what you're supposed to be doing, as what my channel's told me, as what you guys can get in contact with as well, that higher self, actually, the all answers do lie within. It's true. I always say this: all answers lie within.
They do. They do. And when you follow your soul's path, money becomes obsolete.
Oh yes. You know what really turns me on right now when I watch alternative media is the Alex Jones show. Not for the content. I do not like the content. Fear based in one sense, and it's all very ego based as well. But it is helping in its own way. What I like about it is the quality of the production. And I think to myself, imagine that quality with these types of subjects, put out there, getting the bigger name politicians on and everyone else and saying, where's your Christianity in this moment right now with what's going on in the world? Where's that Bible you hold so dearly and the ultimately unlimited, love that you portray? But I'm portraying oneness in the news as well, and looking at the news from a spiritual perspective. God, I'm convincing myself here. This is meant to be your interview. What am I doing?
That's kind of what the mothers do. They kind of come in and surround you and hold you and create space for you to, go within and understand.
I'm being possessed, but and they're getting me to do these crazy things. Yeah. No. Thank you for mothers for coming in here right now and just helping me just to see this, because I did come on this interview a very twisted man inside, just before I started this interview, angry, just a bit angry a little bit, just with everything right now. But I'm in the presence of calmness right now. I can feel it, and I'm thinking, you're not covering your interview. What are you doing? But
you're covering it very well.
Okay. Well, maybe I am. Well, at least this is a demonstration for those who want to get a reading with yourself, just how powerful this is. I did not expect this, so I mean this intuitively and sincerely as well. This is very good. You definitely do have a gift.
We all have a gift.
Of course, yeah. Thank you for reminding me that we all have a gift.
We have to be careful of the words that we choose to use, because it either keeps us in separation or it pulls us into oneness.
Yes, well, we want to be pulled into oneness. That's the only way forward. We do. So that's true. We do need to be very careful, and I need to be careful of my words as well. Not to constantly judge them, but just to remind ourselves that when we do slip, let's just get back into it.
Right.
Remember oneness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just be aware, right?
Absolutely.
That's what everything is about, is just being aware of, what's my pattern? Am I pulling myself down? Am I keeping myself from making money? Am I keeping myself in an upward spiral?
Yeah. Absolutely. What would you say? Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, just very quickly as well. What service? So let's just go, just briefly. What services do you offer as well? Because I there's a number on your website, and also what's your website as well?
So you can find me at just Angela Blaha, AngelaBlaha.com, and I offer a variety of services. Primarily, I do readings, so they're one-on-ones. I do group events as well, and that kind of thing. So, I do like open group channelings. I do a lot of retreats. I also host my own retreats. I have a semi-silent retreat coming up in April. And I speak at a lot of conferences. I do long-term coaching or mentoring kind of with people. So if they want to work on mindset, which is really what we work on, is getting the emotions to match the thought, looking at patterns, people's patterns, looking at their belief systems, bringing all of those kinds of things into awareness so that, you can change with ease. This does not have to be hard. Any change, any, purpose that you think you have, it does not have to be a struggle. We are not here to struggle. We are here to, find people to help us, to work in cooperation with others and with ourselves, and to move forward. We're not here to be stuck either, or to think or to believe that we're stuck. And so, I have lots of things. Facebook, I have several Facebook groups. I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of it. I have my own radio show on Voice America, so you can hear me on Tuesdays live on there.
You right? Okay. Well, throughout this interview, we've been tracking you, putting your book on the screen, along with your website and some bio information as well. What would you say is... I really want to say what's the most important message of the book, but really, because the book's channeled, what's the most important message from the mothers right now, would you say?
It's to go within, to understand your own energy, to get in touch with the love, the vastness of your love, to really find the vibration that totally aligns you with your soul's path. And when that happens, there's no struggle. You just live blissfully every single moment of every day. So it's all about, going within. Yeah, figuring out who you are on the inside.
Absolutely. And just one final question, because I think this is important. You mentioned this earlier on, and people will resonate with this as well. You mentioned that I've got a number of purposes, right? Mm-hmm. So could that be possible that you're working, if we call them businesses, on a number of different businesses at the same time? Is that purpose in a sense?
Yes. Yes. So at one point in my life, I was a mother of 3. I have a partner that I'm married to. So I had a job and I was going full-time to college. Those were all big purposes at one time. I don't recommend that.
Wow.
But then they sort of eased off. And then at a certain age, I'm very starry kind of energy. And so I came to announce that really star beings were here to a group of very powerful humanoids who, really believe in the human concept and how it's changed and everything. And basically I came here to announce that we were here. And I knew that my big purpose, my big life purpose would be over at that time. And so now I've just been in creation, creating one purpose after another. Purposes change. Yeah. We do not have, there's very few human people that come in with just one purpose. Very few.
That's another thing I've been fighting as well. So I really appreciate what you've just said there. But I suppose if you're doing what is your purpose or purposes, there will be some sort of balance in it somehow. Life will make a balance for you somehow.
Right. Well, that's part of your soul contract with yourself, right? Is that you can come in with multiple purposes at one time, but that you'll still be in balance, that you won't be, off in some way, shape, or form, that everything there'll just be some cohesiveness to everything. So, yeah.
You've just answered a major thing for me, and you don't know, but you do know now. But thank you very, very much for that. I really, really appreciate that, and I hope that resonates to a lot of people as well who may be indecisive or struggling with these questions.
Yes, go within. They're all inside of you. It's just whether or not you're paying attention to them, right?
Yeah. Even for someone who channels, as we both do, and I don't pay enough attention to it sometimes, and I'm in the process of changing that and healing that. I know I am, because of the changes I'm making for next week when I'm putting a day to the side just to channel. Right,
awesome.
Something I was never going to do before. I know. I've done it. I've committed to it. I've put it in my diary, and I've committed to the next 4 weeks of 1 day a week doing it. So there you go, guys. Do remember that sometimes you have to do these things to make the space to create for the purposes to come in as well. So, Angela, I'm so grateful you came on today. Do you know that?
Oh, I'm grateful that you had me here. You're an amazing being, Kevin. I hope that you realize just what special qualities that you have and that you bring to the people who are seeing you as the way shower that you are. because you're just so amazing. Your energy is beautiful.
And I can only say I'm terrible at receiving compliments. I'll just say, I'll say we all are. Oh God. But blessings to you for saying that. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here. It's been a pleasure.
Well, we've come to an end on tonight's show. Don't forget that you can listen and watch all our past interviews on the More Show's official YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for new daily shows. You may also find out more on all past and upcoming guests on the show via themoreshow.co.uk, and do like us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates. So until next time, be safe.